Oh yay, another super fun laptop repair. This time I think it's pretty obvious what's wrong with this. Whoops. It's so badly damaged the actual screen bowed inwards a bit. I don't know if you can see that. So this is part one because I need to determine whether this is a LED screen or a CCFL, which stands for cold cathode fluorescent lamp, because it does make a difference. I'm willing to bet this is CCFL, but we'll soon find out and I'll show you how to tell. This laptop has quite a thick lid, and they usually have a thicker lid if it is CCFL, but not always, so it's not a guaranteed way to tell. It's probably about 10mm thick, so maybe a little bit more, 12mm, something like that, millimeters that is. This laptop has quite a thick lid, and they usually have a thicker lid if it is CCFL, but not always, so it's not a guaranteed way to tell. It's probably about 10mm thick, so maybe a little bit more, 12mm, something like that, millimeters that is. So sometimes it's easier to take the display off the laptop before you take the panel out, but I'm going to try and get away without doing it. It's usually the screws are hidden underneath these little rubber feet, rubber screw hole cover type things. Just using a small flathead screwdriver to get these off. They come off quite easily. If you're lucky, they'll keep the sticky as well. Oh, that one's already missing. This is a Dell inpiron 1545. Don't know the exact age, but it's got Vista on it, so it's probably mid to late 2009 at the latest, I would have thought. I actually supplied this laptop to the person who owns it, but because I do so much of this sort of stuff, I forgot. Oh, the screws be a little bit stubborn. Fair enough. That one didn't want to come out very easily. Yeah, well, whatever. Watch out for screws that are different lengths. Pretty sure these will all be the same, but one thing to watch out for is if they're different lengths, you don't want to put them in the wrong hole. Stick the ESD band on, always important. Get my nails in there and start prizing it apart. If you don't have good nails, a credit card will do just fine. So It's stuck. You can afford to be reasonably brutal with these plastics. They're quite forgiving, but be careful, don't go too nuts. There's actually some adhesive on here holding it all together, so. And we have I'm going to say that's a CCFL display. The reason I say that is because we have ourselves an inverter. Now that little board at the bottom of the screen, what that does, in this side goes the low voltage from the motherboard, and out this side comes the high voltage that drives a fluorescent tube along the bottom of the display. So oops. Coffee jar to keep it up. Not exactly technical, but it does the job. Let's get this inverter disconnected. That goes to the tube. Let's undo the screws that attach it to the back panel. There are wires that go between the top and the bottom of the laptop, so you've got to be a bit careful around here as to how you deal with this. You don't want to damage any of the cabling. This is attached here. There's usually some tape holding it all together. In this case it's no different. In fact, they put a nice little blue tab on it so you can see it. So you'll notice I'm not being particularly careful with the display because it is busted already, so I'm not really that caring about it. But this connector you do need to be careful with. And of course this ribbon cable. Again, be careful of this display. What I'm going to do is just gently lay that back like that. So what you've got here, you've got the cable that goes to the display for the signal, the inverter board, and these are the wireless antenna connectors, which goes to the wireless antenna which is here, I'll try and loosen this up a little bit so that I can that'll do for now. Now the LCD is mounted to an outer bracket which you need to keep. 3 screws on each side. You can see how badly damaged this was. See how bent it is? Yeah, get on mate. Well mate, do the number on this one, definitely. All good fun. Oops, that's one side of the bracket. The LCD itself actually forms part of the structural integrity of the lid, which is strange considering it's made of glass. But even glass is flexible to a point. So, there we are. One dead display. Now what I'll do is I'll just put these bits back into the laptop. I'll keep the screws in the display so I don't lose them. Here's the display I've removed from the laptop. Now this would be the top. Let's see, possibly the label's the right way up there. And this is the connector for the high voltage for the cold cathode fluorescent tube along the bottom. Now they don't make these anymore. The tube contains mercury, and it's cheaper and more efficient to produce LED displays, and that's pretty much all you can buy unless you want to pay a lot of money for one of these things now. Now this one's obviously screwed. You can see it's cracked. So I've ordered the replacement, so let's get the new one out and have a look. Here's the replacement. Now this one, they're kind of upside down now. So the actual driver board, I'm not going to touch that because obviously it says don't touch. It's very fragile along the bottom here. Is where all the connections actually go to the LCD. These LED backlit panels usually have the connector at the bottom. So the conversion kit includes this cable here which moves the connector up to the normal place for the LCD. And this board, which I don't think that's going to focus, bear with me. And you can see that this board has a lot of connectors, and that's the one we'll be using, the Dell 1545, for different laptops. So I'm going to need to remove the inverter and put this board in its place and hide it somewhere inside the laptop. It's inside the lid, so we'll see how it goes. So this is the inside of the laptop, and this board here, which I've already unscrewed and unplugged this cable here. This is the inverter board, so you can see basically this is the low voltage connector that connects to the laptop. There's an oscillator circuit which is adjusted with different duty cycle percentage to change the brightness of the display. And then this here, there's the primary and the secondary of the high voltage transformer. which outputs through this connector to the backlit tube, and it can be, I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's around about 1000 volts, 800 to 1000 volts, something like that. You can tell it's a high voltage one, so I've got all these little separators here to stop it from arcing over. Quite often if your display goes dark, if you shine a torch at it and you can see an outline of an image, it's more than likely this board that's gone. These tend to fail more than the tubes do. The tubes don't tend to fail as often. I'm not saying that they don't, but they tend not to fail as often as the boards do. The boards are usually what go wrong. There's hundreds of these on eBay, tons and tons of them. I expect people have been changing their screens out when they've cracked them, swapping them with LED ones, and then flogging this on eBay in the hope that they'll make some money, but they cost about a fiver, so hardly worth a point. I've mounted the new screen. I've mounted the support arms to it, remembering that the board is now at the bottom of the screen on the new screen, not at the top. So just so you don't get it upside down. The inverter board isn't going to be required anymore, so that will stay removed. So now the tricky bit is to put it back in the laptop. I haven't removed the laptop lid from the laptop itself, which would be easier if I did, but I was feeling lazy, so let's give it a go. I think I'll put the camera on the tripod for this one. Right, here goes the interesting bit. If you can hear a wiring noise, by the way, it's the villa vent system. If flat, it's always on. Forced air ventilation system. Right, so this is the 30-pin connector, which I've completely misaligned. I've decided to decapitate the laptop completely, so I've disconnected the wireless antennas. So all I need to do now is remove a few screws, I think. I should be able to get the top off. Hopefully. I think that's all I need to do for the minute. Yeah, I think that's all I need to do for the minute. There we go. Now, I need to take the keyboard out. Funny actually, I've replaced the keyboard on this laptop before because it stopped working. I think I need to move this. It goes like that, does it? Let's get the other screen and compare them. That needs to be more like there. So, whoever take this on didn't do it very good. So I don't damage the back end of the screen while I'm doing this. come on you Muppets, what have you done this for? There you go. Right, let's take that off there. Right, so that needs to be more like... Yes, and if I had something to measure it with I would, but I don't, so I'm guesstimating roughly. I do need to take the hinges off of the body of the laptop first actually. Looks like this. 1, 2, 3 screws on each hinge. 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom. 1. I'm quickly deciding that these conversion kits are crap. Battery went flat. Trying to work out. Well, it's looking a bit dodgy outside. Okay. As I was saying, I'm quickly deciding that these universal kits are crap. Because not all laptops are made equal. And this kind of assumes that they are. I should be able to squeeze it in now. It does not work well at all, that. I'm not impressed. I'll have to modify this. Let's get some pliers. I'm going to have to break off this tab and this tab. I think that's going to work. Oh, what a bloody nightmare this thing is. Right, desperate measures everyone. Hope to God that still works. Let's give it a go. Right, the question is, now I've cut the end off, does it still work? It's not a good sign. There we go. So, it does still work with the end cut off. Hopefully, I don't need to cut any more off. I'm not sure if it will still work if I cut any more off. But looking at the traces on the board, it didn't seem that that end plug was doing anything. So let's try again. See if we can get this thing to fit properly now. Alright, final test. I will find out where those screws come from and put them back in, of course. I'm sure they're inside the display panel. I'm just trying to think where. And there we are. One working display panel. It's going to take a long time to post because I powered it off while it was posting last time, so it won't be very happy, but that's proof that that's working anyway. So what a nightmare, but job done. I don't want to do it again. Two final notes on this. I've put some insulating tape around the end of that to protect it from shorting out on anything, because that cable, the shielding, is conductive, and there's that screw hole there which one of the connectors is resting against, and the two screws I missed out go here and here. So that's it. The battery's about to go on this, so I've got to shut it off. Goodbye.